I'm someone that believes that more people should own a home server. However, to explain why, we first need to understand what is a server. The Cambridge Dictionary describes it as a central computer from which other computers get information. The Britannica Dictionary describes it as a device that processes requests from a client. The Oxford Dictionary describes it as, to continue reading, please sign in and purchase it. What the fuck? Since when do I have to pay a subscription for a dictionary? Personally, I explain a server as a computer that holds or processes data, often contacted using an internet connection. However, there are many different versions of this. Most major Linux distros have a basic version that simply come with a terminal, such as Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian, and all major operating systems have some sort of server version, such as FreeBSD and Windows. However, when it comes to home labbing, people generally go with one of the big three: Unraid, Proxmox, or my personal favourite, TrueNAS. Each have their own strengths and weaknesses, however they all, more or less, are capable of the same things. For example, Unraid. Unraid has decent VM support and even allows you to spin up Windows 11's VMs. It also has over 2,800 community apps, which is very impressive. However, it is proprietary, therefore I hate it. But to be fair to them, it's only a one-time fee. Then there's Proxmox. Proxmox has great VM support, with this being its biggest selling point. It has a built-in backup functionality to help protect data, and is open source. Then there's my personal favourite, TrueNAS. Over 360 community apps, which isn't as much as Unraid but still pretty good. Support for custom apps, so you can pull your own Docker images, and is open source. You pick what you think will work best for you. There are other options, so do your research. But now we can move on to the big question: why do you want a server? There could be loads of answers to this depending on how you want to use your server. So I'll simplify it. I'll explain how and why I use my server. But it comes down to two big reasons: money/ownership and development. I first looked at getting a server because I was paying a monthly subscription for 2 terabytes of storage on Google Drive, which meant I was spending almost £100 a year on storage, which I'm always going to need. Then I heard about SMB. It's a protocol developed by IBM in 1983 to share files across a network, and eventually Windows implemented it into their OS and have continued to update it since. After finding out about it, I grabbed a Raspberry Pi and my parents' 4 terabyte external hard drive full of family memories. I installed Samba on the Raspberry Pi and I bricked it. It lasted maybe a couple months, but it just simply isn't designed for that. So it's my own fault really, and I still need to get it fixed. After realising that maybe the cheapest and quickest option isn't the safest, I decided to get serious. I ordered a ThinkServer TS460. Standing at almost 7 inches wide, 17 inches tall, and 21.5 inches deep, it is by far the largest piece of tech I own. Also being released in 2017 means it's almost a decade old. For these reasons, it is also by far my favourite piece of tech. The entire side panel is held on by one sprung-loaded captive screw. Both bays are fully removable just by removing the front panel, which is only 3 clips, and then lifting a singular latch. You can have it completely disassembled within minutes with hardly any tools. If you want some quality old tech, I'd strongly recommend the ThinkSystem lineup. Anyway, after ordering that, I found a spare 1 terabyte internal hard drive and installed TrueNAS. Not long after, I bought a 4 terabyte hard drive for £120, which means I spent a little over a year's 2 terabyte subscription for 4 terabytes of storage forever, if you ignore the cost of the server. Quick side note, just check the price of the exact same hard drive, it's now at £210, and I only ordered it in December. AI is destroying home labbing. With TrueNAS installed and running, I installed Image on my server, which is a replacement for Google Photos. You pair the app on your phone to your server, and now all the photos you take get backed up to your server, not Google's. All open source, all for free. And then there's the problem with streaming services. Spotify, Netflix, Amazon. Just those alone will cost over £30 a month. That doesn't even take into account the price of family accounts or other streaming services. The average person could easily spend over £370 a year, which is insane. This is where you can look at services like Jellyfin, Plex, MB, and Navidrome, all of which allow you to stream your own media. To get that media, you can look at services like MakeMKV and Handbrake, which allow you to rip and download all your CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays, all open source, all for free. Now you can stream all your media that you've bought and paid for free. I also plan on doing a video soon about de-googling and replacing as many services as possible, so keep an eye out for that. My next reason was development. It cannot be overstated how much I've learned in such a short amount of time from having a server. Docker, Nginx, ports, IP addresses, DNS, front-end and back-end development. The list goes on and I haven't stopped learning. If you want to understand networking more, if you want to build and host your own website, if you want to implement DNS ad blocking, then you don't need to pay for any of it. You can do it all with your own server. Since buying my server, I have learned how to build multiple websites using React, then host those websites on my own server, then make them publicly accessible using Nginx, all for the price of a singular domain name. If you're watching this video on PeerTube, then you're currently connected to my server. If you're not watching on PeerTube, then you can click the link in the description and watch all of my videos ad-free. My server also runs AdGuard Home, which means most ads are removed on all of my devices. This also has the added benefit that, if done correctly, then all of your domain name requests are encrypted so that not even your ISP can track them. If you don't understand how impressive that is, keep an eye out. I plan on making a video on DNS soon. All of these services just get better when you include the use of Tailscale or WireGuard. Now you can use any of these services that you launch on your server from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. And even with all of that, I am barely scratching the surface of what is possible. However, you hopefully now understand some reasons why you might want a server. Thank you all for watching and I hope you've learned something. Please like and subscribe.